Hello people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever be the time you are watching the video. At the end of the last video, I mentioned some FAQs about investing. So this video is all about these small but relevant concerns. So I'm up here with a new video for this week. So let's take a deep dive into the video. So the FAQs are: first one, where to do SIPs or invest. And the second one is which app to use for investing. And the third one is the validation for 15% of returns from stock market. And the fourth one is what if market crashes during an SIP. I'll ask a question which is a simple math, but I feel many will go wrong. I will tell the question now and I will answer it at end of the video. So the question is, let's take a stock of 100 rupees. Let it be a company called XYZ. If the stock price of the company appreciates by 10% one day and then depreciates by 10% in the very next day, what will be the final stock price? Is it equal to 100 rupees, or will it be more than 100 rupees, or will it be lesser than 100 rupees, and why? So let's take the calculator and do the math and watch the video till the end to know the answer. So our first FAQ is where to do SIP or invest. So basically we have three ways to access or invest in stock market. First one is through a regular bank or internet banking. For instance, SBI or Axis internet banking, or whatever internet banking you have with whichever bank you are using. The advantage of this method is that you need not do much procedure to open an account because you already have a internet banking. And the disadvantage is that the charges are huge and there is not much transparency and the user interface is very bad. And from my experience, the disadvantage is far more higher than the advantage. So my personal preference is that you should not use through a bank. And the second one is through a full service stock broker. For example, ICICI Direct, HDFC Securities, Sharekhan, etc. etc. The advantage is that individuals can invest without much knowledge of stock market. That is, the broker will inform you when to buy, what to buy, and when to sell. Basically, you will get all the assistance you need. But one disadvantage of this method is that the charges are very heavy. So my advice is that if you're a beginner and you don't have any help from anyone, this is the best way to start investing. But in these times of YouTube revolution, all help that you need is a search away. So I don't recommend a full service stockbroker too. And the third one is through a discount broker. For instance, Zerodha, Upstocks, Angel Broking, etc. etc. And the advantage is that the charges are very low. It can be as low as 0 rupees if you are choosing the right broker, and if I include the hidden charges also, the charges will come around 2 to 5% of a person with around 50,000 of investment. And interestingly, if you are a person who is investing big amounts, say 10 lakh to 20 lakh, then the hidden charges will be as low as 0.05% to 0.01%. And the main disadvantage is that there is a plethora of options or services offered by the app. So if you are a newbie to the stock market, discount brokers will be like your first smartphone. That is, initially you will be uncomfortable with the interface, but gradually you will learn in good depth. So my personal opinion is that everyone should choose any one of the discount stock broker, because firstly, the charges are very less. Secondly, you will learn about stock market, and lastly, you will get a lot of support from YouTube or from my YouTube channel. So which app to use? We came to a conclusion that discount brokers are our cup of tea. And the very next hurdle is which app to choose. I have personally used Zerodha and Upstocks. In fact, I started stock market in Upstocks and gradually shifted to Zerodha. So let's do an analysis about which app to use. In the following part of the video, I will show the charges incurred in Zerodha and Upstocks through a comparison. Firstly, account opening charges. For Zerodha, the account opening charges is 200, but in Upstocks it is 249. It is comparable, so you will not get much advantage whether it is 200 or 249, and because this is a one-time payment, this should not be considered as a deciding factor. Second thing, annual maintenance charge. So for Zerodha it is 300 as of now, and for Upstox it is free. Taking annual maintenance charges as a parameter, if you see, Zerodha is having 300 and Upstox is having 0 rupees. So everyone will go for Upstox. But if you're a person who is investing 10,000 rupees, this 300 rupees is going to be almost 3% of your investment. And if you're a person who are investing more than 1 lakh investment, then this 300 rupees of annual maintenance charge is coming around 0.3% of your investment. So if your investment is very high, then you can choose Zerodha or Upstox, whatever it is. So the next one is securities transaction charge. This is a charge levied by government for providing the facilities of stock market, and it is same for both Zerodha and Upstox, that is 0.1% on selling and buying. And the next one is depository participation. This is a charge levied by the discount broker, that is Zerodha or Upstox, on the day of selling stocks, which is same irrespective of the selling amount. And for Zerodha it is 13.5, which is small, and for Upstox it is 18.5. So the point here is, if you are a person who is selling stocks very often, then you should go with Zerodha. And the next one is GST charges. GST charges are 18% on all the charges that is given to the broker. I know a lot of people might be still confused on choosing a broker. In this part of the video, I will facilitate choosing the broker by projecting some personal preferences of different people who are watching the video. The first one comes the investment amount. If you are using a big capital, then always Zerodha is better. For instance, if your capital is more than 1 lakh, you should go for Zerodha, because the annual maintenance charge 300, which was just mentioned, will be very less when compared to your total investment amount. And if your investment capital is 10,000, then the annual maintenance charges can be significant. So if your amount of investment is less than 10k, you can go for Upstox. Second one is buy sell frequency. If you sell stocks too often, then you should go for Zerodha, and if it is low, then you should go for Upstox, because the depository charges for Zerodha is lesser when compared to Upstox. And the next one is user interface and other services. Talking about the UI, Zerodha is much better than Upstox. If you are a person who is investing very high amounts, then always go for Zerodha, because Upstox, personally I have used and I found that it is not that aesthetically pleasing, and my recommendation is always go for Zerodha, because the investments will always grow, and if you have a high selling frequency, Zerodha is good, and the user interface is also good for Zerodha. So our third FAQ is proof of getting 15% in long term. Again, I am repeating long term in quotes. The chart you are seeing in the left is nothing but the historical growth of Nifty. The data available in Google is from 1999 onwards. At 1999, Nifty was at 890, and at 2020 it reached 12,250, that is 14% CAGR for 20 years. And at 2021 Nifty reached 14,000. This also breaks down to 14% CAGR. So as a roundup, we can say that Nifty has grown up at a rate of 15% annually. Now another doubt, what is Nifty? I always tell Nifty and I never explain what Nifty is. I will show the percentage wise composition of Nifty, and that is the top 10 contributors Nifty by cash weightage. At the top we have Reliance, which is having 10.66% weightage, and then HDFC Bank, which is having weightage of 9.13, and Infosys, which is having weightage of 8.13. Similarly, HDFC, ICICI Bank, Tata Consultancy, Kotak Mahindra, Hindustan Unilever, ITC, and Larsen & Toubro. So the game is that if you are choosing good stocks among Nifty 50, that is good stocks from the 50 stocks of Nifty 50, you can get more than 15% returns. And if you are a terrible investor and choose bad stocks from the Nifty 50, you will get somewhere less than 15% returns. So in this part of the video, I will show the returns given by the Nifty 50 over a period of 5 years. So first one is Reliance Industries. It has given a 400% returns, and next one is HDFC, 164%. Third one, 234%. Fourthly, HDFC 111%, and ICICI 224%, TCS 205%, Kotak Mahindra 154%, Hindustan Unilever 214%, and ITC 6.4%. This is a bad pick in Nifty 50 for last 5 years because in 5 years it has given a returns of 6.67%. That almost accounts to 1 to 1.5% per year. This is not a good pick considering the last 5 years. And next one is Larsen & Toubro. It gave almost 75% returns in past 5 years. This we will compare with the growth of Nifty in last 5 years, and that is 113%. So if you see most stocks, that is Reliance, it gave 400, HDFC 164, Infosys 234, HDFC 111%. So most of the stocks in Nifty 50, that is the top 10 stocks in Nifty 50, has outperformed Nifty and given a returns which is more than 14% returns. And this is our fourth FAQ. What if the market crashes during an SIP? Most of the people are having a fear of losing money in stock market. This is the greatest entry barrier every newbie is facing. This is the growth of Nifty index, and I am choosing 3 different time frames for an investor to start SIP. Investor A, starting his investments in the year of 2000. This will reflect the actual scenario if you invest in stock market for a long time. Investor B, starting the investments just after the slowdown of 2008. So the investor B will resemble the scenario of starting an SIP in 2021. That is starting an SIP soon after the economic slowdown that have happened due to COVID. And investor C, this investor is the most unfortunate person as an SIP investor because he is starting his SIP at 2020 January, just before the big crash due to COVID. As everyone is expecting, he is going to face a huge capital loss. But don't jump into the conclusion. Let's wait and see the financial muscle. I'm repeating, the financial muscle of SIP. I will have a comparison of investor A, B and C with the returns they got and in the specific time frame. This is the investment graph of investor A, and the orange line is the SIP amount and the blue one is the investment returns. So you can see that in 20 years the investment has grown to 76 lakhs, which is against an SIP amount of 13 lakhs. This is a growth of 5.8 times returns in 20 years. Next one is investor B. The SIP amount is 7 lakhs and it has grown to 17 lakh in 10 years. And this is almost 2.3 times increase in the invested amount. And the third one is the most unfortunate person who just started his investment before the corona crash. We can see that his SIP amount is 1.1 lakh and the investment has grown to 1.6 lakh, which is a growth of 1.4 times. Regardless of facing the corona dip or the crash, the investor C also got a handsome returns. So as a summary, we will see the returns of investor A, B and C and how much returns he got from the market. For investor A, in 20 years he got 5.8 times returns, and investor B 2.3 times in 10 years, and investor C got 1.4 times of his SIP amount in 1.75 years. The focus should be on investor C. Regardless of facing the corona dip or a crash, investor C also got a handsome return. The gift that I want to pass on to you is that the information or the conclusion that any time is the best time to start an SIP. Now it is a time to check the question that I pitched at the start of the video. I will repeat the question once again. If a stock of 100 rupees gains 10% in a day and loses 10% in the following day, will the final price be option A, less than 100, option B, greater than 100, option C, it will be equal to 100? The answer is option A. It will be less than 100 rupees. I will show the math. The final price is nothing but 100 into 1.10 because 10% growth is there. It should be multiplied with 0.9 because there is a loss of 10% and the final price comes to 99. It justifies that option A is correct. Please let me know who all got the answers correctly in the comment section below. This comes to the end of the video. Please subscribe and like the video if I could add any value to you, and let me know your feedbacks in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video. I am Anubin Binjoy signing off. See you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.